Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm 8 minutes late, but I'm 8 minutes late for a good reason because I had all of these pictures and links, and I always feel like these presentations are better when you have pictures and links and things that people can see and grab onto and hold on to. So, what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about something that you're probably, if you're watching this, a little behind the eight ball on, or maybe you or we're looking for ideas for next year, or you're panicking and thinking, hey, I need to do something. And it's twofold, it's corporate giving, but also we're going to be talking about charitable giving. A lot of people do their charitable giving at the end of the year for several reasons. One reason is because Christmas and the holidays is a great time to give to charity because there's all kinds of needs out there. But another, great reason is because people are looking for those tax refunds, or not a refund, they're write-offs, right? They're looking for those tax write-offs. So we're gonna be talking about how can you do corporate giving even if you forgot or it was the last minute. And we're going to be talking about charitable giving. So I started off talking about corporate giving, but we're gonna start with the charitable gifting. Well, that's reversed, right? It's corporate gifting and charitable giving. So we're gonna talk about charitable giving first and talk about what you can do during the holidays that has the most impact. Now, if you guys don't know about me or what my history is when it comes to charitable giving, I have been a giver since hmm, since I was about 14 years old. And I mean, I've been a giver since I was 14 years old. Um like in a very meaningful way. I've always given my time and my money since I was about 14 years old. And what I started off with was doing plays. And that you're like, well, how did you do plays? What I did was is I gathered a bunch of other students and we would produce our own production and then we would sell tickets to that production and we would give the money away. And one of the first charities I ever worked with, the first check I ever wrote for $900 when I was about 15 years old from those plays was to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which was an amazing entity then, and it is an amazing entity now. It's one of the few larger charities that really continues to carry out their mission in a meaningful way that is above reproach. I've always maintained that many of these charities are fronts or just ways for people to get rich and there's an element of truth to that, and then there's some really outstanding larger charities like St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And let's just say you want to combine your charitable giving with your charitable gifting. Well, that is the first thing we're going to talk about. And actually, we're going to talk about St. Jude's first. St. Jude's has, I guess, partnered with this company called Patty Wax, which is a candle company, and you can actually buy candles and gift candles that will benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So, really great organization. Now, the thing is, I'm pretty sure that there's probably other organizations that are partnered with St. Jude's and do this kind of giving as well. This is just one that I found that's a real simple gift that you can give, and you don't have to put plays together with a bunch of teenagers. That was a very rewarding time, but sometimes we just don't have time to do a lot of charitable giving, right? So, but let's talk about, so that was the first thing I did as a kid. The next thing I did as a kid was I again did plays and events and things like that that would fundraiser type things with groups of teenagers when I was in high school in Maine, and I did those in a lot of way for the American Cancer Society, and that actually led to a board position on the for the American Cancer Society when I was about 16 years old. And again, that was very rewarding. It was super time consuming. I probably spent about, I don't know, mm, 40 hours a week as a teenager working on these projects. So it's not these are time intensive things, right? And we're going to get to things that are not so time intensive, but I'm also going to talk about things that are time intensive as well. So another thing, go fast forward into adulthood, and what I started doing was I really started looking around in during the holidays and seeing what would have the most impact in my community for the holidays, for charitable giving, and also what kind of example could I lead for my children. And one thing my kids and I did when they were younger was, if you remember, there was a movement called the 26 acts of kindness. I don't I don't hear of this as a movement anymore, and quite frankly, I haven't done it for a couple of years if I'm being perfectly honest. But when my kids were little, we did a thing called the 26 acts of kindness, and the 26 acts of kindness was a movement that would honor the memories of those children who were killed during Sandy Hook. So my kids and I, we would always start the day with brunch, and you could still do this. I mean, you could still just do a day of kindness, right? We would start the day with brunch, and by brunch, I mean we would go to Denny's. So let's let's not let's not oversell this brunch. My kids were really little. They were only like, you know, 7 and 4, maybe my oldest was 9 and my oldest is 17 tomorrow, so this was a while ago. But we did this for a couple of years where we would go out, we would have breakfast, and we would start our day of our 26 acts of kindness. And what we would do is during that day, we would after we'd have breakfast, we would identify somebody at the restaurant and actually pay their tab, and that would be our first act of kindness. And then throughout the day, we would do 26 different acts of kindness. We would deliver cookies to the local firefighters. We would buy some cans and drop the cans off at the local food pantry. We would pick up some trash. We would excuse me. Oh my goodness. We would go and hold, I would have my kids go to the store and hold the door open for a couple of people, just little things like that. What's big in California, I haven't lived in California for a couple of years, was sign spinners. Sign spinners telling you where the car wash was, or where the open house was, or where the sale was, or, the mattress sale was. And they would give waters to the sign spinners. So we would just go around during the day and do these acts of kindness. And we usually ended the day by handing out free candy canes to people coming outside of the grocery store. And actually, you want to hear what's funny? Is of all the acts of kindness, of all the 26 acts of kindness my kids would do, that was the hardest one, because anytime my kids would try to hand somebody a candy cane, despite having a sign that says, "We're doing acts of kindness. This is a free candy cane." People would not wanna take the candy cane because they were afraid we were gonna ask them for money, and we did not. So, those are some bigger things you can do during the holiday season. What do we do now, and what have I been doing for since that time? And even in some regards during that time is finding local children's charities that are looking for gifts. And you can do this really, 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 really simply by just finding your local Toys for Tots drop off and buying a gift and throwing it in the box. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. What I found to be more impactful is to identify actual children and their actual needs. And this is a this is going to be a very taxing thing for you if you do decide to do this, both emotionally and with time and even perhaps with money. Because for the many, many years that I have done this, where I have found children that have real needs during the holidays, is that you learn a couple of things. You learn that there's a lot of kids out there that really are just truly without. And then you also learn that there are kids out there who have needs that I think some of us just cannot understand. For example, I remember one year I was buying for this group of children, and I happened to get assigned a 15-year-old boy, and his biggest request was underwear. And to me, that kind of stuff is just it's heartbreaking to realize that there's teenagers out there that all they want is underwear for Christmas. So, how can you do this? You can look up local children's shelters. There's usually a lot of places that will house children who've been in and out of foster care so much, not through their own fault, of course, and it's become to the point where just foster care is not working for them, and not because of who they are, but because of the system has done them dirty. And you can find these kids who just have, you know, nothing, and get a list. So a lot of times these organizations are attached to a church or some kind of mission or religious organization. A lot of the ones that I've worked with have been attached to the Catholic Church, and you can certainly find lists there, and they usually have lists. And here in Puerto Rico, I've been working with an organization called Casa Juan Bosco. And so 2 things that I've noticed, is that oftentimes these kids might get these larger gifts, but what they might not get is the essentials. And I was left with this impression because of, that one child who asked me for underwear one year. So let me just share my screen real quick. Oh, I don't know which one it is. It's this one. All right. So, one thing I started doing many years ago was offering to do stockings for all the children, because what I found was sometimes there's gonna be a kid who's just not gonna get the same amount of stuff as the other kids, and so at least they get something that's all the same as everybody else. Number 1. Number 2, a lot of times, especially younger children, aren't thinking about toiletries or food items or anything like that. They're just thinking about, toys or something to that effect. So what we do is we collect either donations or we go out and we buy the supplies and we put together stockings. Now, I have gift bags here because I couldn't find any stockings locally, so I had to slum it and use gift bags this year. But that's what you're looking at here is 109 gift bags that were filled with toothpaste, toothbrushes, little toys, little snacks, things like that, things that you would normally find in a stocking. And these are wildly appreciated. Now, if you are having a hard time with finding a children's organization to do this for, then something you can do, another thing you can do, and I did this with one of my son's Boy Scout troops for a couple years, was is care packages for the homeless, where you can put together almost the same exact items into a care package and then drop them off in various locations or with an organization that can pass those things out for you. Those are very appreciated. And it also, if you have kids and you're trying to involve them, or you have an organization, like a company, and you want to do a team building event, these are amazing team building events as well. As a matter of fact, when one year we took all of the kids, we did all of the gifting for all of the children at one organization because we did it as a company and we went out and we bought all the stuff together. It was a great team building experience. So you can also put stockings together as a team building experience. So these are great ways to just not give money, but also to give your time, give your talent, and put a little effort in. But we don't always have the time. If you're watching this right now, then perhaps you ran out of time this year and didn't do any of the charitable giving you wanted to do. Maybe you didn't do any of the corporate giving that you wanted to do as well, which is fine, guys. We can't always be amazing. So let's talk about what you can do. And we're going to start with what you can do for corporate giving if you waited too long. Okay. I have been guilty of waiting too long and finding out, that it's December 15th and I simply do not have the time to figure out the addresses of all my clients and figure out, which client, what I'm going to send and where I'm going to send it to and how I'm going to send it and how it's going to arrive in Christmas. So what I did one year, actually I did this for a couple years and and the reason why I did it a couple years because the first year was a mess up. First year was, hey, I forgot to get my corporate giving done in time. I was too busy, whatever. Fall at the law firm for me was always the busiest time. So let's just say I forgot that one year, but then I found how effective doing this was for following years and then carried it on after that. And what I started doing was instead of giving traditional holiday gifts that would arrive before Christmas, I started doing something else. I started doing New Year's gifts. So, what we did was we found a New Year's card on Amazon. And I actually found I don't see it here, but you could pick any number of New Year's cards, but I found let me see if I can find it because actually this card, let me see, dog. Mm. I'm probably not gonna be able to find it. But I had this great New Year's card that literally was a dog, like, pulling a sled, a small dog pulling a sled through the snow, and inside of it, it had, like, this motivational message for the new year, and, obviously, this is, like, a great thing to send to entrepreneurs. I represented entrepreneurs, so this is a great card. Now, of course, I didn't just send a card, a Happy New Year's card. I sent it with a gift. And what I liked to send were one of two things. The first thing I liked to send was from something from a company that perhaps I invested in. So, for example, a couple of years I've sent the some wine. I've sent wine or other gifts depending on I try to find out if the client is a wine drinker before I send them wine because I don't want to send inappropriate gifts to people who aren't wine drinkers. But the great thing about this place, this is Europa Village, which is a winery in California that I represented as this client. I represented them. They were a client of mine. And then when I wasn't practicing law anymore, I actually invested in this company because it was just an incredible company, and they have wine, they have gifts, they have things like that, and so I would send something from them. Another company have invested in is a company called and I actually have a couple of companies like this that I've invested in that have been great gifts is a company called Sugarfina. They have a ton of gifts and things like that for this very purpose. And so what we would do is we would order them and then put our cards and mail them out ourselves. Sometimes we would just put together our own little boxes and we would go around and buy local stuff to supplement whatever we bought. So for example, I might like one year I did the wine, but then I also paired that with See's candy, which is a very California thing, and I was in California at the time, and it made for an interesting, very local gift from us, with the card, the New Year's card. But another thing that I have done in the way of giving that also combines charitable giving is I have done gifts that benefit charity. Now, I could not find the specific company that I used in the past, but I found a bunch of amazing alternatives that I'm going to share with you now. Oh, wait, one more thing before I forget. I'm talking about these pretty lavish gifts, but your gifts don't have to be lavish at all. They can be very, very simple. And I want to show you something I received the other day from an investment that I did. Now, this is this is a box of chocolate that I got from Criterion Fund. It's a fund that I'm invested in. It's a little box of chocolate, came in a regular size, like not a regular size envelope, but a little padded envelope. So it probably didn't cost them too much to mail this. They did have a little ice pack in there so the chocolates wouldn't melt, which I appreciate, especially because I live in Puerto Rico and they're gonna melt here. So get so I got this box and I kind of put it aside. And if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, do you mind if I'm honest with y'all for a second? If I'm going to be honest with y'all, I woke up in the middle of the night and remembered I'd had this box of chocolates downstairs and decided I want a piece of chocolate. I know, it's unhinged. It really is. It's not becoming of a lady, but this is what happened. So, I ended up going downstairs to get some delicious corporate chocolate, and what I noticed when I opened the box was, look at this. I don't know if you can tell here, but this is their logo imprinted on the pieces of chocolate. So I just thought that was super unique, very cool, very appreciated, very well thought out. And so that's another thing. That's something small you can do. I don't know how much this cost them, but it's a great touch, and it's very much appreciated by me, an investor. So that's Criterion Fund if you guys wanna take a look at that. They invest mostly in Oklahoma. Okay, so those are kinda some, things you can do. If you miss Christmas, don't worry about it. You can do a New Year's gift, get a New Year's card, send out some New Year's gifts, and still fulfill, that end of year corporate giving if you would like. Now, I said I was gonna tell you what about gifts that benefit charity? And I've identified some that I thought were really great. And there's so many out there, you guys. You can just like Google charity corporate giving and all kinds of stuff is going to come up for you. So this one right here was I just thought this was so, so cool. These are uh digital lottery cards, and you can shop you can also get corporate cards, but you can get shop digital cards, you could shop paper tickets, and then they will impact a variety of charities. So look at all these charities, they can, your giving uh can benefit. And I just think this is so, so cool because it's simple, it's neat, it's fun, and it's just such a great way to give, and also to make sure that you're not junking up your customers or clients' offices with useless tchotchkes with your logo on it, and it also benefits these amazing charities. So check this out. It's called givelottolove.com, and you can pick your charity as well. So really, really cool thing there. And let's see what else we've got here. This I did something similar to this, many years ago, packed with purpose. These are corporate gifts that, also give back, and you can choose your charity. So there's a actually, maybe you might not be able to choose your charity. I know, the one I used to work with that was similar, like, to this, which was like, corporate gift baskets, did allow you to choose your charity. And why I like this is because, I think consumables are often a good gift, even if people don't want the consumable gift, because they can always give it away, or they can set it up in the conference room. I don't know if sweet consumable gifts are amazing after Christmas. As long as you send them before New Year's, I find that people try to, jump on their New Year's resolutions. A lot of times people have the New Year's resolution of losing weight, so they're not going to appreciate getting candy or cookies or what have you, after New Year's. So just be a little mindful of that, I think. But this is called Packed with Purpose. So if you want to actually send something in the mail that has a little more heft, this might be right for you. Okay. This one I found was really cool. I don't know. I like, if I'm being honest, I found this cool because I was hungry. And I think we're seeing a common theme here. Where is it? It's this one right here. It's called Dopey. This was actually on featured this was a product that was featured on Shark Tank, and it's edible cookie dough that you can send as gifts, and they also will donate to charities. And I feel like they do sustainability charities, although I don't remember. You can go and read about it, but it's dough and then the letter P.com. You can check them out. And yeah, again, if I'm being honest, that was because I was hungry. All right. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And then this was also amazing. I would love a gift like this. This is called Tingly. Tingly is where you can send people experience gift boxes. So let's take a look. You choose a gift box, you deliver an e-voucher, or you can check a box and they get to pick an activity to do. How cool is that? So let's check out what the activities are. And then they also donate to charity. Oh, look, one activity to choose from 13,000. So you're just choosing like a price, and then they can choose thousands of activities: adventure, tours, gourmet, cooking classes, spa, supercars. I mean, how neat is that for for the person who has everything? I mean, I know I dealt with some very wealthy people who needed nothing, did not want gift boxes, did not drink. So something like this would be perfect for them and gives them, so many different choices. I really like, in a lot of ways, I feel like you just can't go wrong. So they have all kinds of different experiences that you can buy. And yeah, so they give, and I do understand that they give. I'm going to double check this because I know I picked them because they give to charities as well. Give me one second. Let's see. All right. Tingly, tingly, tingly. Why am I not finding you? Oh, I don't know where it is. All right. That's too bad. I thought I knew. Tingly. All right. Tingly. They give works toward a ton of climate initiatives like cleaning up plastic in the ocean. Uh, and planting trees. So that's tingly for you. This to me, like, if you're gonna get me something, that's what I want. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So those are some things you can do if you're looking to give gifts and you want them to have a charitable bend, lotto tickets, gift baskets. There's so many options. Find the one that's right for you and get to your giving, everybody. Oh, you know what? Also, I want to encourage you that if you're struggling with charitable giving at the end of the year and you really want to do something, just ask. Ask. And if you don't get a satisfactory answer, or a nonprofit seems a little disorganized and they don't know what to ask you, or they don't, some of these nonprofit organizations that mean well can be very A, disorganized, or B, not know how to ask, or C, get embarrassed in asking, or D, they don't know. So, for example, the stockings, no one ever told me to do the stockings. I saw a need and I asked if I could do it. Now, you don't just foist things on nonprofits. They don't like that either for a variety of reasons. And I've had a lot of experience working with nonprofits. Particularly, one my longest term working at a nonprofit was I worked at a food pantry for 4 years, and you know, um, we want good giving, not things that are going to cause us more problems, right? So, uh, I'm frequently reminded of, it's just very Michael Scott of people who are like, oh, I'm going to adopt a child for Christmas, and then I'm going to give them, an iPhone 16 or something like that. And that helps. That doesn't help either. So you really want to be able to work with the charity, but if you see a need that the charity can't seem to verbalize, or can't seem to, um does is afraid to ask because they're afraid it's gonna be too much, and I'm telling you, the nonprofit world is ripe with this, then ask them if it's okay. Come up with your own idea, carve your own path, and ask them if it's okay. And you'll be surprised at how grateful these entities will be that you took that initiative and did it for them. Don't take the initiative without asking permission, but they will be very grateful. So, for example, I asked permission for these stockings. I said, "Do you mind if I do these stockings? What I like to do is this. I find there's a real need for it." They said, "Yes." I went and delivered the stockings. After I delivered the stockings, I had asked previously, if you have any older children, because I find the older children get neglected. If you have any older children who need something and don't have anything, please tell me, because I'll take care of it. And, it's the holidays, they're busy, they're organizing a lot of things, they're organizing this party, they're organizing food, they're organizing the kids themselves. They're making sure, like, this kid has a gift and that kid has a gift. And there's just a lot to it. And sometimes those things fall through the cracks. So, I showed up, I delivered the stockings, and I said, you know, I just wanted to ask if you have anybody who hasn't been taken care of, particularly older children. And, they said, "Oh, okay, we'll let you know if anything comes up." And I hadn't left for even an hour. I left the location, and I got a text. "We have 17 kids who could use something tomorrow." 17. Uh, and they're between the ages of 15 and 20 years old. So, um, those are those ages, right? And the worst thing about being in foster care is when you age out. You know, there's uh there's a lot of issues with aging out or being an older kid in foster care. So that is a real need at the holidays, are older children in foster care who literally just don't have anything, and are about to enter into the real world. So I got this text, and my dear friend Tatiana, I texted her and I said, "Hey, there's a need at the place, Casa Juan Bosco, that has 17 kids between the ages of 15 and 20 who don't have anything. Can you help me do something?" And she said, "Absolutely." So what we decided was we got each child, or they're not children, right? They're young adults, teenagers. Each young adult teenager, we got them a $20 gift card from Walgreens. And so Walgreens, so how do you pick a place like this? How do I pick Walgreens? Why not Walmart? Why not, some other s- you know, ma- some other location? Well, because Walgreens is the biggest chain that I could think of in the immediate area that I knew every kid there could eventually get to a Walgreens, and Walgreens has something for everybody. Everybody eventually needs something that is available in a Walgreens. So we bought them $20 gift cards from Walgreens and just put them in cards, and then, sealed up the cards and dropped them off, and they were very, very grateful for those. So those are some ideas of what you guys can do for charitable giving in your community. Every community has kids like this. You don't have to do kids. Again, you can do homelessness. You can address other needs. What I have found though is you want to find what your cause is and then kind of stick to your cause, because then you'll get better and better and better at addressing the issues of that cause every year. All right, everybody. If you don't have any questions, and it doesn't look like anybody does, my name is Jillian Sidoti. This has been all about corporate giving and charitable giving at the end of the year and how you can do it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and join us next week for another entrepreneur stream.